Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Intuitive Energy Forecast for February 25th, 2022. I'm Arlene Grace, an intuitive energy coach, master numerologist, and channel. Take whatever resonates for you, leave the rest behind. And so I'm feeling into this energy, and today's energy is the 6 and the King of Clubs. And of course, the King of Clubs, I think of my mom because my mom is a King of Clubs birth card. And today, it really speaks to this energy with the 6 of there's this karmic influence and there's this ability to see the results of your decisions, results of what you have decided in your life, and to really assess that, right? That every decision we make has a result, right? And we know that we make a decision and we have a result, and really coming back and going deeper into that and feeling into, well, what was the cause? Why did I decide what I decided? And so there's this invitation today to really pay attention to legacy, to pay attention to the truth of who you are, this ability to deepen into your own soul's purpose, right? Who am I, and what is it that I'm bringing out into the world? And it doesn't have to be hard, right, to discover what your soul's purpose is, because many of us have been doing it this entire time. Many of us have been doing the things that we absolutely love, and we may not have realized that is in service to the world. Doing what we love is in service to others, to the world, and it ripples out and it changes people, changes things. It creates an impact. With the King of Clubs energy, this is coming into the mastery of the mind, of communication. It's this ability to bring the creativity that's within you to be inspired to take a new journey with it, to act with it. And in that, there's this beautiful opportunity to really land into greater stability, greater foundation of what it is that you are moving out into the world. It's this opportunity this weekend to really pay attention to this mental energy that is around us. And so it's taking me to this vision, like our mind is not here. Our mind is here. Our mind is 9 feet around us. It's information that is 9 feet around us that we cannot necessarily see, because as I put my hands out, all we see is just space. But to know that this space is actually full of other people's thoughts, other people's ideas, it's full of electromagnetic energy. If you have a phone, it's full of the energy of the Wi-Fi. If you're by a computer, it's full of all of this energy that is around us that we can't necessarily see through our 5 senses. Some can. And that in this space that is around us, everyone else is being influenced by all of this energy. And so there's much thoughts that are out there. There's much ideas that are out there, and that our brain is the decider of, am I going to pull in this thought? And what am I going to decide with it? Now, the brain and whatever is moving through you is really going to be based on, how am I feeling? What is the tonality of what is the frequency in my own body? What is my vibrational state? Am I in fear? Am I in peace? And so just paying particular attention to that, because thoughts just come and go. You are the one that gets to decide whether or not you're going to take it in and decide what it means for you. And so there's this invitation today to know that if these thoughts aren't necessarily mine, as I pay attention to my world, as I take a look at my world and I observe, is there something more that I want to be doing? If I had a legacy, and if I were not to be here tomorrow, per se, what would that legacy be? And do I want to change that? And am I willing to deepen my sense of self and deepen my sense of purpose and create that legacy, because it ripples out anyway? What is the impression that I want to leave here in the world? Right? What's my stamp, per se? And so it takes me to my mom, and I'm just observing my mom's life, right? Through her stories and through her own experiences, through what I've experienced with her. And my mom, you know, they came from a very poor third world country. And so we're talking, you know, living in huts and living in homes where there wasn't necessarily, you know, indoor toilets. The toilets were in the center of the village, and they had to go to these places where they had to go and wash themselves, use the toilet, do all those things. It was a shared community place. The floors were made of cement. The houses were made of cement. Like, it was very third world. And so my mom, in order to get herself through school, to pay for her clothes, to do all these things at a very young age, she learned how to cook. And as she started to get older, she would cook on her own. She would teach herself how to cook, or she would learn from my grandmother. And so in the morning, she would wake up early and she would go and pick vegetables at different places. And she would bring that together and she would make food and she would sell it on the streets, so that she could pay for her own education. And that got her through school, right? And when I look at that, you know, this ability to see what was around her and to create something so that she could further support herself, so that she could lead and be in her own truth, to allow for her to feel secure, to build this foundation for herself. I see now that she has this catering business. She's continuing to do that. Now, it's stopped in certain places, but that's what she does. That is her purpose. Her purpose is to create meals for others, to play with recipes, to love others through that. That's how she expresses her love, right? And so this has rippled out. She's fed thousands and thousands and thousands of people, right? And that is her legacy. And that's not the only story. You know, in this, she decided that she wanted more. She wanted to have a different life. And so she moved here in her 20s. And I remember there was one day where I came home and I was 7, and suddenly there were 9 uncles, aunts, and a set of grandparents, her parents, living in a 1,000 square foot home. And so she decided to take the lead and have something more. And so she sponsored all of them. One day, they suddenly arrived. And to imagine that rippling out and the legacy of that her belief and her decision in that was, I want to create a better life for myself and have that rippled out into my family. And to see how that's changed everyone's life, that was part of her soul's purpose, that she wasn't paying attention to the money or how she was going to do it. She just made a decision. This is what I'm desiring. This is what I want. She wasn't necessarily paying attention to, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Do you have the money to do that? Is that even possible? No. She wanted what she wanted. That was what was moving through her. And that created impact. That created change. And so this is very similar to the energy today. When you take a look at your life, knowing that you are leaving a lasting impression. You are creating legacy in every decision that you make. Are you willing to be in that and to capitalize on this energy of the mind, of coming into mastery with it, and to allow for yourself to move forward with that? Who am I, and what is it that I love? What is it that I love doing and sharing as a part of me in the world, in my family, in my community, with others? And moving forward with that, especially this weekend, because we're in this mind energy for just a couple of days, and then we're moving into spades, which is really about coming into this mastery with including the spirituality, including all aspects of your life, we begin here first. And knowing that our mind is not just here, our mind is there. That our mind and what is available to us is full of possibilities. And that you get to decide what you're going to play with. It's a great energy today. Feels really good, especially as we've just come out of, diamonds, paying attention to our physical world, paying attention to our physical bodies, paying attention to our relationships. With that, with our wealth, with our money, how do you value yourself? And now moving into this energy here. And paying particular attention to, am I willing to ensure that I'm paying attention to my breath, grounded, centered? Because with this energy, there's a lot of energy that's moving out there, a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs, a lot of ideas that people are sharing with you, right? But coming to this place of a thought is just a thought. Whether or not I take it in and connect it to a belief or an idea that serves me or not, that's my responsibility. Come into mastery today. Come into mastery this weekend. Beautiful. Sending you all so much love. If you have questions, comments, please feel free to share. If you are part of Numerology Junkies, which is a beautiful community where we play with the numbers, if you are curious about that and understanding more about numerology, then I'm going to invite you to come into Numerology Junkies, where I'm actually hosting an event where we can integrate today's energy, where we can play with some timeline shifting, where we can understand how this energy here is really supporting how we experience the day. Awesome. Sending you all so much love. I will talk to you Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.